Hello everyone and welcome back to the FPL Engine YouTube channel. Now in today's video I'm going to be talking you through my Game Week 3 transfer plans and also how my team performed in Game Week 2. So as you can see, it's not exactly gone my way at the start of this season. It's not too bad. I've definitely seen a lot of people with way worse ranks than me. I think I've got a few things right. But then again, I have to hold my hands up and look at this team and say I have got quite a lot wrong. At the end of the day, FPL is a guessing game. You know, you can bring statistics in, but at the end of the day, this game is purely just luck. It can go wrong, it can go really right, but for me, to be fair, it's just not gone my way. And I think that mainly is down to the picks of, Aston Villa, Bruno Fernandes missing a penalty, Cole Palmer being injured. It's just everything that could have gone wrong has basically gone wrong. In saying that, I am definitely in a better position than a lot of others. I own João Pedro. I own someone like a Pedro Porro who looks good. I own someone like a Reinders from the start who's been looking like a 90-minute man for Manchester City. So I actually think my team isn't in a bad place and I am actually quite happy about where it is. But anyway, getting into how it performed in Game Week 2, Robert Sanchez in goal with the 3-pointer. Obviously, I should have played Dubravka getting the 6-pointer versus Sunderland. However, I just really didn't fancy the double up. And knowing how bad West Ham are, I really fancied Robert Sanchez for a clean sheet that game. And really, he should have kept one. Nico Williams, to be fair, he's been a bit disappointing so far. But did anyone really expect a clean sheet versus Crystal Palace? No. I did expect one in the first week, but no, I didn't really expect one versus Crystal Palace anyway. Pedro Porro, very unexpected one. I am glad I played him over Anderson. However, Anderson will now get subbed in anyway because of Cole Palmer. And obviously Esteve keeping that clean sheet, so he was also very good for me. So the back line actually does look quite decent if you look at it. And this is why I'm not too panicked because I also had Juve on my bench who got an assist. Picking a player like Juve, there was always going to be that risk. There's always that risk. He's not going to keep clean sheets. We know that, but he's a very attacking-minded player, and I picked him because of the assists, because of the goals, and I was just hoping there would be a bit more of that. But, with West Ham sort of looking so poor, it's gonna be hard to, ever want to play him in my team unless he's playing a side that's even worse than West Ham. So I don't think he's been the best pick, to be honest. However, Anderson as well, getting the DEFCON, just a nice steady pick. I'm very, very happy with him. Anyways, moving on to the midfield, we'll start from the right with Tijani Reinders. Now, the thing is with Reinders, we all knew he wasn't going to return every week. If you're buying a 5.5 mil player and believing he's going to return every week, it's just not going to happen. And the thing is, that's why I was saying I don't really understand why everyone was so desperate to get him in last week. I understand he had a great game. I get he absolutely ran that game versus Wolves. But there's never a guarantee it's going to happen again. And if he's playing in that deeper role with Marmoush on the pitch, he just did not look as good. But I think that will most likely happen against the bigger clubs. So when he's playing someone like Brighton next week, hopefully he will get a bit more forward and advance in that 10 role. But yeah, Tijani Reinders, he's a solid 5.5 mil pick, 5.6 now, but he's just that solid pick, solid cheap pick. He's getting 90 minutes. You can't really go wrong and complain with that. Bruno Fernandes, it's honestly, being a Man United fan and this happening and just not winning again, it's honestly very, very disappointing. And I was so confident about giving Bruno the captain's armband, and I think I still am. I think he will still get it this week. I'm actually going to the Man United Burnley game this week, so that'll be another plus for it. But I think he will get the armband, but I can see myself giving it to Mohamed Salah. I really can see myself giving it to Mohamed Salah. At Anfield with Arsenal at home, if they've lost the likes of Saka and Odegaard, if they're not playing, I think I might give it to Salah. But yeah, no, it was annoying because, Bruno picked up DEFCON as well, so if you're looking at it, it would have been round the 13-point game because it's highly likely he would have got 3 bonus. So it is really annoying, and my rank would have been in a much better position right now. But it is what it is. You can't change it now. We've just got to move on and hope he starts performing. And if not, he's going to have to be sold. There's also a bit of a familiar case with Morgan Rogers of him just not performing at the start. These Aston Villa in general really just haven't been good. But for me, Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins, I just don't want to sell them because I think they will come good. And looking at their fixtures, I think I want to just keep them for as long as I can. And if they're just not doing it, then they can finally go. sort of after the good fixture run, because I don't want to sell them and then see them versus Burnley and Sunderland and just absolutely hauling. I don't want to do that. In my eyes, if you have Rodgers and Watkins, I'd just keep them. I really don't see the point in selling them. I think there's definitely other players in my team that I should be prioritising over them. But yeah, I mean, if they keep just playing terrible, I'll have to think about it. But I do want them for that good fixture run. And just another midfielder that's been letting me down, Cole Palmer. Honestly, it is annoying. It really, really is annoying. Knowing that he would have played in where Esteval played that game. Oh, just thinking about what could have been is annoying. Obviously it saved me from the people who captained him, but even then it would have helped my rank either way. So it is annoying. I really did like the look of Cole Palmer at the start of the season. I was really excited on him. I did think he would play in that right wing role. I think he would. I thought he would change from what happened at the end of last season. I thought we'd see more of the Club World Cup final Cole Palmer, but it just hasn't happened. And ideally, you want to keep him, you want to hold on to him, but if it's just not possible, I'm not going to force it. And I will obviously have to sell. This guy he does it every week, doesn't he? He just does it out of nowhere. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like he had a good game because he didn't. He was really out of the game. And I think with these new signings, I know people always say he's too wide and he scores every season after people saying that, but he is playing very, very, very wide. And it doesn't exactly look like the Mohamed Salah of last season. And I've said from the start of this season, I don't think he will be as good, but I am still going to pick him in FPL because I just don't want to take that risk. I thought it's a lot safer going Salah, and so far it has been. I think he's Mr. Consistent. At Anfield against Arsenal, you can see him scoring. He's, just a penalty, and that, the points he can get from that, he'll most likely get 3 bonus from scoring a pen. So for me, he is essential at the start of FPL at least. Maybe not after a few weeks, but for me, I just can't go without him. I can't bring myself to go without him. But then after Arsenal, you've got Burnley and Everton, and then I will most likely free hit Haaland Burnley. Or if I don't free hit, it gives you a chance to buy Haaland and maybe even activate the triple captain. As I've said from the start, I just think Salah at the start of the game is a better FPL asset than Erling Haaland. Moving on to the attack, Mark Yu on the bench getting some minutes. You love to see it. You love to see him on the pitch doing that for my bench. Obviously, I think for a bench boost, he won't be in my team, obviously, but you like to see him getting some minutes. And the other 2 strikers, we've already talked about Ollie Watkins. For me, he's been terrible. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. Ollie Watkins has been absolutely dreadful. And I know people saying he's not had service. I understand people saying he's not had service, but I think even when he's had the service, he just doesn't look lethal. He doesn't look like a striker, like an Alexander Isak, like an Erling Haaland, that you're scared when he's about to take a shot. Like I know he's not going to score, and I really hope that can change. But every time he has the ball, he just doesn't look clinical. And I actually think Morgan Rogers has been playing quite well, but they need to play him in that 10. I really don't know what Unai Emery is doing. He needs to play him in that 10. Obviously, he knows more than me. Obviously, I don't know anything about the Aston Villa, but from what I've seen, it's like playing Cole Palmer really defensive. There's no point doing it. It's like playing Bruno in the CDM. All of these managers have just been using the players wrong, and I don't see why. There's no point having a player like Bruno Fernandes if he's going to get played in CDM, and there's same with Rodgers if he's going to get played wide, where his best position, where he creates the most chances and scores the most goals, is through the middle. And same with Cole Palmer, they're playing him in that defensive role, when if you actually put him on the wing, on that right wing, he plays 10 times better. So yeah, I mean, it's not been a great week, but I'll stop rambling now and we can get onto my transfer plans for game week 3. So I will put out there, ideally, I do want to roll this transfer, but it is looking likely that Cole Palmer won't play. So if that happens, this is the option 1. I am less likely to take this option, I'd say, but this is to sort of get Erling Haaland into my team. it does mean Erling Haaland would come in game week 4, not game week 3, because in game week 3, I really don't want to take a hit. I don't feel like it's worth it. And in fairness, I don't think I'm going to move for Erling Haaland, but if I do, this is how I would do it. I would go to Kudus in game week 3 from Cole Palmer, and then in game week 4, I would most likely change Bruno Fernandes to Semenyo and Ollie Watkins to Erling Haaland. Now, there's a few reasons why I like this, but there's also a few reasons why I don't. And one of them why I don't, it sort of limits moves I can make in the future. Because, you're taking out the 9 million midfielder, so you're not going to get any expensive midfielders. You're taking out a 10.5 million midfielder, so you've taken out 2 expensive midfielders, and also getting rid of Ollie Watkins. And now I know I've been slating Ollie Watkins. I know he hasn't been great, but I still think he will come good with the fixture run. I really do. And is it worth losing all of that money in my team just for Erling Haaland? I don't know if it is. Because worst comes to worst, if I make moves another way, if I downgrade Cole Palmer to someone like Kudus anyway, if I ever want to get him back, it's such an easy move from Bruno Fernandes to get back to him. So that's another reason why I'm sort of leaning away from this. But yeah, I think the chances of me taking a hit are very, very, very low, to be honest. I don't think it's worth it at this point in the season. If I wanted to take a hit that bad, I would just wildcard or activate my free hit. I just don't feel like a hit's worth it. So, here is option 2. Now, I would say I'm a lot more likely to go with this one, just because with my sort of chip strategy, obviously I'm thinking, I'm going to go free hit in game week 6. The only issue with that is if I wanted to, triple captain Haaland versus Burnley, which definitely is an option, don't get me wrong, I would have to use the other method. But then where does it put my bench boost? Where does it put my wild card? I feel like this way, knowing my chip strategy from the start, I will stick with free hit 6. I think I'm going to try and get a bench boost around 7 or 8. And then it easily allows me to get my wild card in 10 or 11. Because round then, I'm sort of wanting to have Haaland and Salah because their fixtures both look great round then. So if I'm wanting to do that, the bench boost won't happen. So I'm going to have to do the bench boost round 7, 8 or 9, which it's completely fine with me. It means I just won't be able to get Haaland until round game week 10. But I think I would rather wait and, be able to use my chips how I want to. The only chip I don't know when it's going to happen is obviously the triple captain chip. But I think we will just get a good team on wildcard, and then after wildcard, I'll obviously assess when I'm going to use that chip. There are a few dates in mind I've seen, where Salah plays West Ham, he plays Leeds. There's lots of times I will have the option. Haaland does some easy games. That's why I want to wildcard them both in, so it's easily flexible to pick one to triple captain. But anyways, onto these transfer plans. As you can see, this week it would be Cole Palmer to either Kudus or Antoine Semenyo. I do need to decide, or Juve to Daniel Munoz. Now, what I am thinking, the smart play if Cole Palmer's out could just to be Cole Palmer to either Semenyo and Kudus, because then after the international break, I can still do either one of the options, and that will help me massively. Because imagine I do Kudus and Munoz now, Haaland scores a hat-trick, I really want him, but I've just sort of got myself out the move, and then that is where it does me in. But I do really like the look of Daniel Munoz, but is it worth bringing him in for a Villa away fixture? Probably not. So I think this week what I'll end up doing is just Palmer to Kudus, because in my mind that's the safe pick, because I just think if I have the freedom with another 2 transfers, first of all, it'll cover any injuries. Second of all, I can easily get a Mateta as well. I can get Semenyo as well for game week 4. And what I will probably end up doing is going for a Daniel Munoz and maybe a Mateta as well. We'll see. The only issue I have is with potential price rises. Do I really want to risk Munoz having the best game of his life and going up? And looking at Villa at the moment as well, this is the thing. You don't know. I sort of do want him. And again, I'm looking at Juve and I'm thinking, can he cover him just for one more week? And I don't know if he can. But I think this is the one that I will go with. Maybe just Palmer to Kudus. Because I do like the look of Kudus, but I also like Semenyo, so it really does depend. I just think Kudus is probably the safer option for me. And I do really like his fixtures, but obviously I really like Semenyo as well. It's just I'm probably going to get him anyway, so I may as well do, Kudus now, but I don't know. It's a tight one. I think at the end of the day, I'm going to do Palmer to either Kudus or Semenyo, and that is my final decision, I think. So here is my current team selection. As I said, I do want to roll the transfer. However, I don't believe Cole Palmer's going to be fit for a second. And I think if he is, will he start? I don't think so. So I think it is going to have to be a sell, unfortunately. And it is annoying because I do think he will come good. And I think it's going to be when everyone's sold him and then his price is going to go up. I'm going to have to buy him back. And yeah, it's not going to be fun, but we can just hope he's fit. But as I said, I don't think he will be. So this is the team for now. The only real other question is, can Juve sort of be better than Munoz? Will he be a better asset? Obviously, I think everyone's answer is no. But can he cover him for this week, or should I go to Daniel Munoz this week? Am I going to want Erling Haaland? There's so many of these questions. I just don't know. I think it's definitely going to be that back line. I think it's definitely going to be the attack. And Cole Palmer may go. And I am sort of leaning to Semenyo now. In the past 30 seconds, I've just decided I might well go Semenyo over Kudus. But the thing is, at the end of the day, if I'm going to get them both anyway, do I really? And I don't know. I really don't know. It could be Semenyo, it could be Kudus. We'll decide later on. There will be a final team selection video, so you'll know then. But I think they're the only two options. Brennan Johnson's not on my radar. Just because of minutes, really. I think Kudus is clearly looking like the player who's meant to be the Mbermo of Thomas Frank's side, so I think if I'm going to pick any of them, I'm going to pick him. But they are linked to wingers, Spurs, so it's difficult to say, really. Anyways, that is it for now. Thank you to everyone for watching. I know I've rambled a bit this video, but yeah, it's as I said, it's been a stressful 2 weeks of FPL, really, hasn't it? So it's not been great. But anyway, yeah, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I will be back with you on Friday afternoon or Friday morning, probably Friday morning, for my final team selection video.